Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. In this video, I'm going to tell you which credit cards I used in Argentina and Uruguay on my recent trip and why I tried to use cash as much as possible in Argentina. Before I do that though, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. Now, before I talk about the trip, I have to say just one thing right up front, and that is that credit card foreign transaction fees on some credit cards are so stupid because on the trip I just took and any trip that anyone takes outside of the United States, there's no reason to bring any credit card with you that is going to charge you an extra 3% on your transactions outside of the United States. So some of the credit card companies are wising up. Capital One for a long time has not had foreign transaction fees on their cards, and now there are more of them on the market. But for the trip I just took, the only cards that went with me were the cards that didn't have foreign transaction fees. Not going to pay an extra 3%. When everyone was doing it, the credit card companies could get away with it, but pretty soon I think those fees are going to go away. All right, anyway, I just got back from about a 10-day trip to Argentina and Uruguay, 7 days in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and then we took a ferry and spent a couple days in a city called Colonia del Sacramento in Uruguay. I had really no preconceived notions as to what things were going to be like there. I'd never been to South America before, ended up really falling in love with Buenos Aires. Very interesting city, all kinds of stuff to do, very friendly people. It felt very safe. Some people told us that you need to watch out for pickpocketers. Never felt like I was in a situation that was unsafe. We took Ubers around the city even at night and never felt like there was really a situation to deal with. Same thing as far as Uruguay goes, known to be a very safe country in South America. But anyway, on our last day, unfortunately, we did not get to stay or try to get into the game, but we went down into the Boca neighborhood to see what things were like before the big Super Classico soccer game, football game between Boca Juniors and River Plate. So going to a country you've never been to before, obviously you need to figure out the money these days with credit cards. That usually can get you a long way, and then you can exchange a little bit of money to make sure you have cash in the local currency if you absolutely need it. However, on the day that we were leaving for Argentina, I did a little bit of extra research and found out that there actually is something going on in Argentina that I had not been aware of, and that is the fact that they have sort of runaway inflation, like 70%, 80% over the last 12 months. And so a lot of people in Argentina aren't feeling very confident about the long-term value of their money. So what that means is there's an official exchange rate in terms of the dollar to the peso in Argentina, and it's still good. You might get like a 30% premium as someone from the US, but you can go other places, a sort of black market or what they call the blue market or the dollar blue, where you get way more than that official exchange rate because people sort of see the US dollar as something to invest in because they think it is going to keep its value better than Argentina's own money. So if you go to sort of the banks and those sorts of things, you'll get the official exchange rate, but you could get pretty much double that if you go somewhere else. And there are certain storefronts where they will do an exchange with you, or I even found out that with Western Union, you can send US dollars via Western Union and then go to a Western Union store and they will give you this sort of inflated exchange rate. So all of a sudden we took like maybe $500 of US dollars with us, exchanged it there, and probably got at least $1,000 worth of value out of it in terms of our spending. So we tried to use cash as much as possible in Argentina. And in some ways, as a tourist, that feels bad because you feel like you're taking advantage of a bad local situation in terms of their currency. But as far as they're concerned, they see it as sort of an investment because they believe the US dollar is going to continue to be a lot stronger than their own money. So they're willing to pay a premium for it. So in some ways, I guess you could say it is a win-win. When you get that nice currency exchange in the short term, you can use that money within the week or 2 weeks that you are there, and the inflation obviously isn't going to change that much over that short of a period of time. But for the people that live there, they're worried about what things are going to look like 6 months or a year from now. So it's worth it to them to pay more for a dollar that they feel better about. Now, in addition to the cash, we did have to use our credit cards in Argentina and Uruguay, and actually in Uruguay, it's sort of the flip side of Argentina in the fact that using your credit cards is to your advantage because they want you to use your foreign credit card in their country and they will give you a discount of the VAT tax I can't remember what VAT stands for, value added tax maybe. Anyway, it's 22%, so they don't make you pay that 22% if you are using a credit card from outside of Uruguay, so it made sense to do it there. Anyway, the bulk of our spending went on 2 credit cards, the Wells Fargo Autograph Visa and the Amazon Prime Visa, and the reason is both of those cards, no foreign transaction fees, and then on top of that, there were rewards to think about. The Amazon Visa, I had a special offer of 5% in rewards on restaurant purchases. So anytime we went to a restaurant and had to use a credit card, it went onto the Amazon Visa. The Wells Fargo Autograph Visa got even more of our spending, partially because the ferry ride from Argentina to Uruguay was ridiculously expensive. I think for 3 of us, it was like $500, and that's to get yourself just there and back, 3 people for an hour ferry ride. It is a new country, I get it, but that was kind of crazy expensive. If we had done better planning, we wouldn't have had to spend as much. Anyway, we had to spend money in other places too with a credit card. Like in Argentina, if something is government run, you have to use a credit card and get sort of the normal exchange rate instead of the black market or blue market rate. So anyway, we used those credit cards. I used the Capital One Venture X a little bit for only like $100 worth of charges. The Amex Platinum got 1 Uber ride, and then when I got home, I found out that that Uber ride did not even get the Uber benefit that is on the card, because the Uber benefit on the American Express Platinum is only for Uber rides in the US, which I guess I should have known, but I wasn't thinking about that when I was in Argentina. So the official numbers in terms of rewards is spent $1,586.21 between all the credit cards, got 4,624 points between all the credit cards. If we assume that each one of those points is worth a penny, which I think is fine to do, that would be about a 3.04% reward rate across all those purchases, which I'm pretty happy with. So I give a big thumbs up to Argentina and Uruguay. If you are thinking about somewhere maybe different to go, a place that you hadn't thought of before, definitely would recommend them. And to the credit card companies that are still charging those foreign transaction fees, I would tell you that you probably should get rid of them. When people go to other countries, it is usually because they're taking a rather large trip and they're probably going to spend a good amount of money. So maybe if you didn't have those foreign transaction fees, they would use your card instead of choosing another card. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, love to hear those in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you're not going to leave a comment, you're not going to go to the website, you should watch right now this video.